the minute you tap into what is my purpose, you've stopped talking about the physical realm. You've already made a prayer. It's your being longing to understand why you're here and what you're here to do. When people are talking about generational curses, I would rather we call them generation pathologies. It's a pathology. It's how we deal in our family. When there's conflict, do we sit and discuss, or are we people who dismiss,
avoid
it? Trauma is not what happened to you. It's what happened within you when that trauma happened, right? When you're able to resolve that, you're able to decide what you're going to do. But you see, you can't say, I will sit here, I will heal, completely heal, then move on.
Anyone who is still stuck on that healing journey and they crave growth, they crave taking responsibility, what would be that parting shot look like for you?
Just decide, I'm healing and I am growing. If you can write that somewhere as an affirmation, I am healing and I am growing. Just decide. Because nothing happens without us making up our mind about it.
Now, I feel sometimes the spaces we are in and the spaces we need to be in can be a bit confusing. Sometimes you're scared, like you just want to progress in life, but there's always that desire for you to stay in a place, because if I stay here, this is my comfort zone. And as I said, 2024, we are rebuilding. We are not just rebuilding our love lives, marriages, personalities. We are also rebuilding everything that has to do with us. And that's why I thought it wise to bring this incredible person. I've met her now. This is actually the second time I'm meeting her, and she's full of nuggets. And I said, we have got to benefit from what she carries around. Don't delete it. Oh, wow. Okay, guys. We have got to benefit from what she carries around. And I hope by the end of today's conversation, not only will you be inspired, but you will be challenged to take a step from where you are to the place that you need to be. I'm about to let her introduce herself. But before I do that, of course, I want to say thank you so much to our people at TapTap. Thank you guys for everything and just everything you've done, and for being incredible supporters of our work. We have been with you guys. We are heading to 1 full year. So if you're looking into sending money to your loved ones back at home here in Kenya through M-Pesa or bank accounts, why don't you try TapTap Send, and you get 10% cash back on all the details on your screen. Download the app and let me know what that experience is like for you. And of course, to say thank you to this amazing team that gets to put this work together. We do not take you guys for granted. And to you that is watching, we are heading to 1 million subscribers. Guys, I know it's not just about the subscription. It's knowing that we are growing organically. That makes me really happy. So subscribe if you've not. It does not cost you anything, but it does help our work reach a lot of people. And now, of course, without further ado, please allow me to let our guest today introduce herself. Good morning.
Good morning.
So I should have you laugh.
Our ancestors are in the room.
Yeah. They're like, they're in the zone. How are you feeling?
I'm actually feeling really good.
Yes.
I'm happy to be here. Thank you for the invite. Yeah.
Long overdue.
Yes.
Guys, you know what happened? I've honestly tried to schedule this from, that was last year. Then we said, let's do January. Then after we said, let's do in January, right? Yeah. And then I saw your post about respecting yourself. And I was just like, you know, I'll just respect myself right now and just schedule this interview. So thank you so much for coming.
You're welcome.
Yes.
Yeah.
I hope hujanifilia, hujanikachia sana.
Hapana.
Yeah.
When the time is right.
God makes everything beautiful. All right. I know you, but people are watching you maybe for the very first time. So please introduce yourself.
My name is Morrine Mineh. I am a life coach, an empowerment specialist, and a master NLP practitioner.
What is NLP?
Neuro-linguistic programming.
Okay,
Yeah.
that one has always caught me off guard. But once again, I'm really happy we are here, and I know the conversation we are about to get into
Yeah.
will leave some people like, oh my God, kumbe, I'm still here, you know.
Yeah.
But before we go any further, what gave you, or what generated this interest of you wanting to be intentional with the way you live your life, go in the life coach manner? What really drove you there?
My life crisis. So looking back, because then life, you understand it looking back. What had happened is I had an interest from when I was a child. Like, I would always have the question, why? Why is this happening? So if I saw someone who was drunk or something that was off, and everybody would look at the behavior, I would actually be looking at, why do they behave like that? That would always be a question that will linger. But life happens to all of us, and we move, things happen and all that. But I found myself as a parent at 20. And at some point, I realized I don't know what I'm doing. I just genuinely don't know what I'm doing. So I asked God, I need help, send me help. Because I knew there was something I wanted to tap into, but I didn't know what that was. I hadn't seen it. I had grown up in church. It still hadn't clicked. So I just needed help. To be very honest, I just needed help. That's how it started. So funny enough, I believe when the student is ready, the teacher appears.
Yes.
So I had different teachers that show up in my life who would say, okay, it's very good that you have already figured out who you don't want to be. But as long as you never get to figure out who you want to be, you're going to be stuck there. So that's how my journey began.
Yeah.
So just wanting to be a better parent and understanding what being a woman and a mother was set me on the path. So along the way, I came to realize I really loved working with people. So I was already an accountant, practicing actually. And I found myself just at around like 10 years ago, I got into a crisis. And I realized, okay, I've gone this far, but now I need an actual person in my life. So I was looking for a mentorship. So I got a life coach who worked with me at that particular time. After the training, when we finished that journey, an year later, he sent me an invite and said, you know what, there's something I saw in you, and I want you to come for the trainer's training.
Wow.
And that was that. So he's been my coach, he's been my mentor, he's like a father now. And so the journey just continues. So I found myself more and more just showing up for trainings, showing up, just being curious more about people, about healing, about spirituality, and finally just getting the courage to be able to say, you know what, this is purpose for me. So let me just step into it. Yeah.
This is purpose.
Yeah.
I love that you brought that word around, you know, because some of the people, even in my circle, they struggle with purpose. You know, I don't know what is it with this word where you feel like purpose. I don't know even how to define purpose, but I'm sure even some of the people who are watching, the question they always ask themselves is, what's my purpose?
Yeah.
But for me, I've always been interested in the journey before discovering your purpose, right? So for you, before you discovered this is my purpose, what first is purpose? And also, how did you deal with the journey before the purpose?
Wow.
Yeah.
So one of the things that I would want all of us to understand is the minute you tap into what is my purpose, you've stopped talking about the physical realm. You've already made a prayer. That's it. Because you realize when you are asking what is my purpose, is that you realize that you are here to do something bigger than probably what you've been told by people.
Yes.
Than what the system has set up for you. That's a soul question. It's not a mental question.
Oh, say that. It's
a soul question. It's not a mental question. It's your being longing to understand why you're here and what you're here to do. My journey, So I was in accounts. I was good at it, I think. But what happened at some point is I got into major crisis. Major crisis. I will call it the dark night of the soul. Where I had started Vibaruas when I was 16. I would find something to do with my hands. And it got to a place like 7 years ago that I couldn't even work. And I kept wondering, what am I supposed to be doing? Then my world more or less fell apart, literally. And I had to sit down with myself at some point and ask, what are you about? And every single thing that I had learned, every single thing that I had taught up to that point was tested. One of my friends kept telling me, because at some point I lost everything. Like at some point my life just fell apart. And I realized there's a part of me that knew there is something that's being birthed, but there's something I have to let go, and that's the crisis I'm in. Can I trust that there's a path and I can take it? Or do I hold on to this? But again, remember, when there are places if you tap into, there's no way you're tapping out of. It's like ukifika kwa game in a different level. You can't pretend you left that level. You can choose to play at a lower level, but you can never pretend you never tapped into the higher level.
That's what we are saying now.
Yeah.
Yes. You can pretend to choose a lower level,
yes,
but you can never pretend that you didn't get to that level.
Yeah. Or you don't even know that that level exists, or you haven't gone to that level.
But is that a fear though? Once we get into a level higher, because we are scared and because we feel we are not deserving of this level, we go back a level lower.
Yeah. There's the issue of deserving. There's the issue of, can I sustain it? This is comfortable. I know this. This I know. Accounts I knew. I could write a CV about it. But what did I know about working with people? I had worked with people, yes. I had had private clients, yes. I had coached my friends for years, yes. But what could I talk about it? Had I run a business before? Had I seen anybody around me step into their purpose before? Could I ask advice from them before? Like, I didn't know anybody else who had done it. And actually who was not majorly in corporate and human resource trainings, who was not talking of executive coaching and all of that. And in my mind, I'm like, I just want people to heal. I want them to tap into that, because if they tap into that, then they're able to tap into being excellent leaders and excellent whatevers. But we have to go to this place where, who are you? What are your values? What drives you? What holds you back?
Yes.
So that we don't talk about superficial levels and we haven't tapped into the real thing. I couldn't get that. Other than now, I know they're there, I've just not met them. Other than my coach at the time, I didn't know anybody. I didn't know anyone else.
Yeah.
And he wasn't even practicing per se. He practices with people who he likes working with, young people, because he says those are minds that are easier to change.
Yes.
And I would feel frustrated. I would wonder if there's a market, like just getting to a place where I could self-accept. Took tears. Took at times just looking at the mirror and just saying, I am worth it. Because also the internal work that I have to do for me to help you walk into your darkness, I must be very familiar with my own darkness.
True. You know, because I was going to ask, one of the things I've noticed in your pattern when it comes to having this conversation, you're not trauma dumping, right?
No.
So you say I was in a major crisis, but what you're doing, you're not giving that crisis power.
No.
It's just, by the way, that's a crisis. You're not letting us into the darkness. You're not giving it power, right? But, damn, the work you've done, girl.
It's the process.
But now, because some of us
Yeah.
might not have gotten to this process. Before I tell you my story, I gotta walk you through my story because
Yeah.
I need you to understand how this hurt me, which is leading to our topic of conversation today, right?
Yeah.
I gotta walk you through this because I need you to see how hard this was for me, so that, Mineh, you need to understand the
You are
pain
hurt.
is here. I am hurt, you know. I am so hurt. When do we let go of this part? God, could you combine this part with our topic of conversation today? Stop healing and start growing. Stop healing and start growing. And do we really stop healing? And when did you come to that realization? I gotta stop all this trauma dumping. I gotta say it, but I can't give it power.
1, interrupt the pattern. 2, let go of the story. It's the story that keeps you there. Let go of the story. So there's a story I have heard of, it's a culture actually in one of the Asian countries, where if one goes through major trauma, major trauma, you're allowed to speak about it 3 times only. And you speak about it so that you get to understand what it has done to you, what has happened to you because of that story, like just because of the trauma. Because remember, your story is able to hold you captive for a very long time. And that's why you have to, we are not negating the fact that that happened. Apparently, first of all, some of the traumas that we have gone through have been what has set up for purpose.
Yes.
So trauma serves purpose. But if you're caught up in the story, it will never serve your purpose. It will never serve the purpose that it was supposed to serve in your life. It won't. Because if the patterns we have are their survival patterns. They're called archetypes. We all have them. And there's the child, there's the victim, there's the saboteur, and there's the prostitute. When I mean the prostitute, because I know that's where the challenge might come in, is not the normal prostitution we talk about. It's about energy and about selling your gifts or who you are. It's actually negotiating your power. So in our survival, there's the child. We have all gone through trauma. Even the kids who tell you, I had a really wonderful childhood. When they get a really good psychologist, coach, someone, and they have trauma. Everybody has trauma. There's a teacher who says, childhood in itself, in its nature, it's traumatic, because everything about you is dependent on someone else. So there's always trauma in children, and as a parent, you're doing the best you can. So look at it in this sense. You're a child. You already have trauma of what you experienced. There are times in adulthood you will refuse to make choices and decisions because you want someone else to do that for you, as they did when you were a child. That is what we call the child archetype coming up. Those are the 4 we have in common. All of us, every person you see, that the child will come up, the victim will come up, where, oh, you don't understand, you don't know what I've been through. That's the victim. The saboteur, that you will always find reason not to follow through. But even the sabotaging actually serves a purpose in itself. We do not do anything that we do not benefit from, because how we engage our, like, let's say I'm supposed to meet you and I don't show up, or I show up late. What is happening is there's something about me showing up late that is important to me, that serves my agenda.
Oh.
So we never participate in anything that doesn't serve us. Even the sabotaging in itself, it supports us. The prostitution in itself, it supports us. And those are the things that we need to learn to let go of. That can I take my power back? So, as children, we come here. You're fully dependent on someone else. You come, we give you a name. We tell you this is who you are. This is who we are. This is how we communicate. This is how we deal with conflicts. When people are talking about generational curses, I would rather we call them generation pathologies. It's a pathology. It's how we deal in our family. When there's conflict, do we sit and discuss, or are we people who dismiss?
Avoid it.
And avoid it. What type of, how do we deal when it comes to communication? What did you learn about your self-worth as a child? Or the people around you? Because the people around you, how they show up is how you learn people show up. So when we are moving in our levels of growth, that's what we are looking at. That this is, so I am here, I have arrived as an adult. I am 18, I am 20-something, I am 30-something. I have done everything they have said I should do and I could do. But I'm still feeling very unsatisfied. I'm having outbursts that look at times very childish. And it's because my child archetype is huku playing out. The very thing that maybe ningetaka, when I was young, I wanted someone to do for me, I'm actually out here looking for somebody to do that. So I'm forming my personal relationships and friendships from that place. I'm looking for friendships that will actually acknowledge the fact that I am wounded. So we victim bond. So I come, you show me your cookie of woundedness, I show you my cookie of woundedness. The next time I call you and I say, Lynn, you know what happened today? Nani called me and I feel so bad. I expect you, because you know my cookie and your cookie are the same, for you to stop your world
and attend
to my wound. Because we used to ask each other, so what's your name? What do you do? Eventually, you remove a small wound. I also remove a small wound. I show you your wound. You show me yours. I show you. And we now are bonding from a place of trauma. You get addicted to our stories. So if we don't interrupt the stories we tell ourselves,
it's game over.
We are going to go in circles like this, over and over and over again, and at times change comes because you're tired. You're tired of not knowing. You're tired of not being. You're tired of doing the same thing over and over again. So if you can say, this is my life, this life that I live right now, this is mine. How do I govern mine? We have an agenda for everything. People write UCVs, they tell you everything they want to achieve career-wise, but they never tell you the agenda of their life. They don't know. They don't know exactly what the agenda of their life is. What type of a person do I want to be? When I meet you, what type of impact do I want to make? And it's not about legacy in terms of the things we leave, because one of the things that I think I am learning to appreciate, that it's not about just leaving things, it's leaving the essence of who you are behind that can be carried over in generations. In terms of, can I give you wisdom that you can carry forward? Can I help you tap into something you are not now, or you are and you do not know how to tap into, that can carry you forward? Because I can leave you this and this at some point. The value is done. But can my children's children say, we know of a grandmother who was called Mineh lived, that this is the wisdom she left. And this is the way she lived her life. And the only way that is talked about is because you actually impacted the lives of those God has put in your life. Because I want also us to look at life as sacred. If I consider you important, if I consider me important, then I will deal with me like that, as if I am important. You are important.
Yeah.
So if my life is sacred, it means your life is sacred. So how do you deal with things that are sacred?
Good. Allow me to ask, because it's a pattern in friendships too. You have these two cups. Your cookie, my cookie. You call me because your world is crumbling. I have to stop what I'm doing and attend to you. So are these friendships healthy, or what happens if one decides to grow and the other is still stuck in their pain, right? So are we saying, I give up on you? Are we saying, I shouldn't attend to you when you call me? Are we saying, when you call me, the first thing I need you to ask me is, Lynn, are you in a position to hear my cry right now? Because that's something also we don't do. We don't do just because we are friends, you know. I expect if God.
I will turn the question to you.
Yes.
If you and I
Yeah.
have been on the same level, and we are talking now here in terms of, let me put it into context. We rave together, we drink together, we indulge together properly.
Yes.
And it's because we also know when we're indulging, we are also we create the scenarios again, and we start our stories, and we how we are hurt and all of that. And then so I go to therapy. You don't.
Yeah.
You see, with time, I will realize maybe I've been self-medicating here, indulging as much as I have, right?
Yeah.
So do you think our conversations will continue?
No, no. But won't you feel bad though? Because this
Of course you feel bad. So
how do you deal with the guilt of moving forward, and your friends are still stuck? It's a genuine.
I know, because
because we might not be open to therapy at the same time, right?
Exactly.
Yes.
I will say this. Can we consider as a people that relationships are sacred ground for healing and self-discovery? So why I say that is this. If you want to know where you're at, look at your friendships. Really look at your friendships. They are such a mirror. All relationships are such a mirror. They call you up to growth. We cannot be so close and we are not similar. So there's a way, maybe something you will do that really pisses me off and keeps annoying me. And it tells me more about myself than it tells me about you.
True.
It triggers something in me. So what is that? Why do I feel like this environment doesn't work for me anymore? Could that be true? Could that be actually, can I trust my instinct in that moment that this space doesn't serve me anymore? Could it be that when this friendship is not working, there's of course the guilt. But remember, if you or I is stuck in their own ways, there's going to be a level of impossibility for us to continue being friends. And that's why people drift. And at times, I believe some of these things are they're very organic. That you guys will find that you don't have necessarily anything to talk about because the energy has shifted automatically. Because your type will change, even your type of friends. So let me put it like this. Let's say I'm a rescuer. So all my friendships are created on, I need someone to rescue. That's what I do. I come, I see you have a problem. Like, I will be attracted to people who always have problems because I want to rescue those ones. And I resent it because guess what? You also want people who are going to pour into your cup.
Yes.
But you never learned that because remember, there are habits that we have that are have been a survival skill. So that's how I survived. That's how I learned to love. That's how I learned to be appreciated and accepted. So over time, what I do is rescue. So of course, the person that I will get is someone who's always in distress.
Oh, yes.
And the stories you will hear with most rescuers is, I've done this for Nani, I've done this for them, I've tried all of this, I am getting frustrated. That journey is not the rescuee's journey. That's your journey of life just asking, so how long do you want to do this? The day you decide and you realize you have no ability to rescue anybody else other than yourself, you will stop attracting rescuees, because you will also honor their journey.
Profound.
So instead of us even feeling guilty or feeling angry, at times it's just going like, I am so grateful for either that friendship, for either that relationship, because it showed me where places within myself that I needed to work. So I had a client some years back, and it was a young guy, and what he had learned over time is to be a solution giver to everyone. And that's how he learned that's what love is all about. And so I said that the very first time. We talked some months later, I said the same thing. So what are you getting to realize? Oh yeah, I don't know what to do. So eventually he got tired of it. So he said, what do I do? Acknowledge it. Once you acknowledge something, you now have the power to decide who runs the show. Am I willing to make decisions? Am I willing to exercise my power of choice? Because the power is always yours.
Yes.
Am I willing to do that, to exercise that power of choice? So later on, he was able to clear that off. Then one time he calls in a panic and says, I'm in a crisis. I'm in a crisis completely. And I'm like, what's going on? And he says, I'm dating this lady, but she has no problems. Yes. I don't know what to do with this situation. She has absolutely no problem, and said, you have a beautiful problem in your hands. You now get to know how it is to love someone genuinely. And you now get to know how it feels to be loved for just who you are, but not a solution giver.
Yeah.
Now you get to know how you love, or how you would love if someone didn't have a problem for you to solve. You get to choose. And that's why I said you can unlock a certain level and then you will go choose something completely different. So it's, yeah.
That's so profound, Now you know how it feels to be loved for who you really are.
Yes, you get to have that opportunity. Listen, you can always check how you're growing by even who you're dating and who your friends are. Those are the best mirrors for you. If you keep saying, my friends betray me, sweetheart, how do you betray yourself? Because they're just a mirror. How do you betray yourself? Maybe not in the way they betray you, but probably in you making choices that don't honor who you are. Maybe you not keeping your word. Maybe you even staying in just friendships that don't honor who you are. So you're talking about being betrayed, but you're actually also betraying yourself.
Good. Powerful. But let me ask though, why do we extend our healing process, and can healing ever have an end? What makes us extend that process? Why do we dwell on that healing process?
The journey of a seeker requires no form of commitment. The journey of a seeker requires no form of commitment. As long as I am working on something, I am not committing on something else.
Yes.
It's sad even for me at times when I think about it, that that's what we do as people. That we will say we want peace, but when you're given the avenue to do it, you call back all your demons beautifully. Because this is what healing does. Like when you have cleared the path, what he's saying is, you have been the woman who you were told you should be your entire life. Who are you? What do you want to do? Who do you want to be? What relationships do you want to form? And do you know that requires you to sit silently? It requires also a lot of boredom. You will get bored. There's no excitement there. Peace doesn't come with conflict. But it comes with quietness that will require you to introspect. That's a lot for people who we have always been interested in someone telling us what to do. The child archetype. Lynn, niko na hii situation. What should I do? What do you think I should do? Do you think I should take this job? Should I take this job? What do you think about this guy I'm dating? Someone else, please make the decision for me because I do not want to be responsible for my own life. Literally, that's what we are saying. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So I'm not asking you for support. I'm asking you to make decisions for me because I do not want to be the one responsible for making these decisions. I am afraid for whatever reason. I could be afraid of failure. I could be afraid of maybe, and it's not really failure because you realize when people say they're afraid of failing, they're probably afraid of what they think failure means. Is it shame? Is it guilt? Is it whatever it is? Mm-hmm. They think that's what that interprets for them. So that becomes the thing, but it's I do not want to make my choices. So at the end of the day is even if we get to a place where I have resolved something, I have come to the awareness of truth about a certain situation, I end up not taking up that. I realize, this means I have to level up. And that's the price I'm not willing to make. So guess what? I look for another issue. All of a sudden, we've gone back to my childhood, all of a sudden, because healing and growth can coexist. Actually, they are supposed to coexist. You can't be in therapy, and I'm sorry to say this, but you can't be in therapy for 3 years dealing with the same thing. Actually, even for dealing with the same thing. Of course, your therapist is not going to tell you this is not, you're not willing to work. But there's a level of commitment and decision that has to be there. So it's just the leveling up we don't want. Because growth requires commitment. For me to change behavior, it requires commitment. It requires saying, I am so done with my own bullshit. I am tired of my patterns. I am going to do everything humanly possible to let go. Mm-hmm. So I have to commit. I have to commit to the growth. I have to commit to the work. I have to commit to, and the commitment is so difficult at times for certain people that let's just continue healing. Let me move from this therapist, go to this therapist. Let me leave this modality, go to this other modality. Let me do this and do that. Just get tired and tell the truth. I say, I've come to learn, even when people are consuming information, they're seeing their therapists, they're doing the work, as we say, there has to be intention to it. There has to be intention to it. Most of the time, there is no intention. And that's where the problem is. And there are people who are genuinely looking to heal, and there are people who are looking to understand. It's okay for both. Because I could say, I find myself in this behavior. I want to understand it. I just want to understand nini naendelea, and then I'll be fine. Mm-hmm. But there's someone who's saying, I'm tired of this behavior. So yes, you will help them understand what is going on, but they're tired. So they're saying, just give me the tools to move forward. Tell me what I need to do to move forward. So they will not seek healing, because we also get stuck in the story of why did it happen to me? Why me? That's a question you will never find an answer to.
Damn. I feel like why me is such a safe space, you know? I feel feel like, why me? Oh my God, why did it happen to me? Why me? I feel like that's just,
Why not you?
why not you?
And I'm not trying to anyone, but what if heavens, there's something, one of the people I love their work, she's called Caroline Mays. She says, what if God sends an angel and the angel tells you, just because? Why me? Just because. Deal with it. Just because.
Hey, damn. You said you shouldn't be in therapy for 3 years over the same thing. But who determines when our healing time is over?
You. You.
That's the easiest answer ever.
You.
Is me, right? But what if some people heal faster than others?
That's good for them because that's what they've decided for themselves.
That I'm gonna heal faster.
Yes.
Damn.
Your question is, who determines you? You.
But the mind.
That's what you're talking about is trauma, right? But I'm talking about taking charge of your life. And also trauma is what happens. I'll say what Gabe Mate said. Trauma is not what happened to you. It's what happened within you when that trauma happened, right? When you're able to resolve that, you're able to decide what you're going to do. But you see, you can't say, I will sit here, I will heal, completely heal, then move on. It's just the same way you will tell someone who is going through a certain course, you learn, you go for internship, tafuta vibarua nani. You know, like, changamka. Changamka.
Yes.
We can't be dealing with your lack of
internships forever.
Yeah, and you being in school for life. Experience is out here. It's in the living. It's in you saying, I am done making excuses for my lack of taking responsibility. I am done making excuses for not taking action. Don't do affirmations over and over again, and when the opportunity comes, you don't step in, and you say you're afraid. We ask you, you're afraid, and then you said, you know, nothing good has ever happened to me. Now, kama ungechukua your steps. See, that's how we would have known if something good now has started happening for you, because if the whole year you've been making this affirmation that, oh, I actually believe in this one. All of life loves and supports me. So not unless I step into that. How will we know if you're actually not doing or working towards what you're saying you want? So we have discovered you have a problem with the truth.
Yeah, unfortunately.
So no, I'm giving an example, Nikki.
I'm also echoing your example. No, I'm also echoing, like, we've discovered.
Yeah,
it's unfortunate.
It's unfortunate, yes, but you struggle with the truth.
Yes.
Now, moving forward, can you tell the truth? Because yes, we can keep saying you lie because your parents are very strict. So you learned how to lie because you wanted to protect yourself. Valid, true. You're not a child anymore. You've grown up. Deal. Now you're not a child anymore. We can't keep saying, uko na miaka 35, alafu unashindanga ukisema, like, let's just take risk. Tukweni too serious.
Yes. My mom did.
My mom did.
My dad did.
My dad did.
My spouse did.
Yes, they did. But remember, Kwanzaa, especially when we're dealing with people like spouses, I keep saying, when you're saying my spouse, that's your choice. Let's go to parents, because I know that's a touchy topic. I would encourage all of us to remember and to understand the stories of our parents. A title is powerful. When I say, Lynn, you're my best friend, there is an expectation already. When you hear someone say, they didn't show up and they're my sister, is because of the title, the sister. So when you say my mother, my father, those are, after God, those are the two people you know. So, but when you remember, these are men and women, when you're able to look at them and say, I wonder what type of a woman my mother is. Mm-hmm. And hear and choose to hear her story as a woman, not as your mother. To understand her journey as a woman, not as your mother, then the story changes. When you're able to look at your father and see your father as a man and wonder, I wonder his story. When we talk about family pathologies, when we don't look at, we are very angry because of sometimes the things that happened and the things that we are trying to change without ever asking, where did this start? How did this start? How did my mother become this bitter person? How did my father become this angry person that we all don't want to be around? How was this born? Because you will realize we are victims of victims. We are just victims of victims. If we get to hear the stories of these people, hold them close and say, like, what happened? How was your mother like? Then you will see how your mother's mothering has mirrored their mother's mothering.
Period.
And how it has affected you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Then now you understand, if you're calling it generational curse, which curse you're breaking. You understand it from that context.
Yeah.
Because because of all the information that's out here, we are times talking about, I'm breaking generational curses, we are ending this. What really are you ending? Because if you don't understand what you're ending, there's nothing that's ending. And if you're doing it from a place of pain and place of brokenness, it may not be the result that you want.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I say, you see the way we grew up in places where sausages were not a thing. And poverty was and now you see, we also now have a generation of so many kids who are obese. And it's because, especially millennials, we overdid this thing of, my kids will never go through what I went through. So your children don't even know what ndoma ongwashe is. They don't know what healthy eating is. Because then you're breaking the generational curse of poverty, but you've not taught them the wealth of healthy living and healthy eating. Damn. You have fed them food that
you lacked.
So this entire thing, this entire drama that you're acting has absolutely nothing to do with the children but you. That the schools they are going, you don't even ask, is this school going to edify my child? But they will not go to the schools that I went to. But you have not narrowed down to, one, why did I go to the school that I went to? In terms of education, what am I looking for my children?
Also, was the school I went to, was it really bad?
Exactly.
Was it really? I mean, I loved my school. It was cold and whatever, but I would still take my kid there.
Okay, I don't know about mine because I've not been there for the longest time. Yeah. All I knew, it was so close to home.
Yeah.
And the teachers lived around. So there are times I would leave the gate and they leave their gate and they're like, I shouldn't get to that school before you.
Yes.
But in 2 minutes,
yes,
I'm there.
Yeah.
I didn't see anything wrong with it. But now it's about showing off something. So that becomes about you.
And not about the child.
And not about the child at all.
Why?
The child is like Kuko number 7 in your priority list. But when you ask people, they tell you, everything I do is for my kids. I will not
Hapo
go.
umeguza pahali.
Nimerealize na
Yes.
sitasonga zaidi ya hapo.
Tusonge kwa sababu your kid is number 7 on your priority list.
Yeah.
So I hustle hard for my kids. I'm taking them this school. I'm giving them this food. But is it really for your kids?
Yeah, exactly. That's where the question really is. Is it for your kids or is it for you?
Tuachie hapo.
Yeah,
we are having a parenting show coming up soon. Hoping you'll be on the panel discussion for the one-on-one. But spouses, partners, the people we choose to share our Shakespeare stories with, you know, these lovely people. You said it's also your fault, but...
No, I didn't say fault.
No,
it's also, kwa moto.
Umesema hivyo, it's also your fault.
It's also your choice.
Oh, choice. Sorry.
Madam.
Choice na fault inanikaribia.
Hapana.
It's also your choice.
It's your choice.
But what's the difference between fault and choice?
Fault, we are saying something is wrong.
Choice, something is wrong. It's a wrong choice also.
So, let's do this first. Yes. Let's throw wrong,
yeah,
right,
yeah,
should and shouldn't out the window.
Okay.
Good, bad out the window.
Yeah.
And let's work with, does it work or not?
If it's wrong, it won't work.
Nimekwambia wrong. Simple instructions, mama.
Sasa unajaribu kunichanganya.
Apana, like, so what I mean is this, and why I'm insisting on putting the right, the wrong.
Sorry.
It's because anytime we are saying right or wrong, should, shouldn't, good, bad, we try very much to assign faults. You only do better when you know better.
Yeah.
So you cannot blame yourself for decisions that you made 5 minutes ago that you didn't have the information that you have now.
I get it. I could make a choice, but I don't know if it's a wrong choice.
Or good for me or bad for me. Until when I realize how I actually see, we live life forward, but we understand it backwards.
So does fault mean I had knowledge about this, but I still...
Yeah.
Okay, got you.
So that's why it doesn't... And you see, when you're trying to grow, or rather when you are growing and when you're working with yourself, you want to also be very honest about what you're doing, how you're doing it, and why you're doing it. And there's always a why as to why you're doing the things that you're doing, right? So in that process, it doesn't serve you in any way to want to assign blame or fault.
Good.
Just take responsibility. You know, the way you kind of say, Enye, this is me and this is what I did. If it's something ukweli you knew at the beginning, you can say sorry and you can acknowledge this is how I have betrayed myself in this situation, or this is actually how I betrayed myself in previous situation. So now you're able to see this is actually a pattern that has been going on over time. Sindio?
I like this. True.
Sawa?
Yes. But let me ask. Sorry, you wanted to add on something? Let me ask. We've recognized healing does not serve us anymore. We have to be intentional about now moving forward. But there is so much solitude in growth as well. There's just so much boredom.
Exactly.
There's just so much boredom.
Healthy is boring.
Yes.
But this is the beauty of healthy. And I thought about it the other day, and it kind of just mellowed my heart and broke my heart at the same time. Healthy is boring. That's why we look for chaos. Because you're given an array to do something different, an opportunity to create differently. That even the awareness you get and you say, but this doesn't serve me anymore, and you put it aside. And then you sit and you realize, now I am seated here and I need to figure out like at as if now I have to make new decisions again. I need to figure out who, like my friendship with Lynn is not working. Mine with Nani is also not working. And it's because we used to drink together, now we don't. Or we used to do this together, now we don't. We used to gossip a lot, now I don't feel like gossiping anymore. And especially gossip that does not have anything to it. You know, I don't want to do that anymore. you realize now that you have to cultivate and learn how to probably communicate better, how to intentionally make friendships that are heart to heart, they're vulnerable. You know, things that would last you for years, other than things that we hang out on the weekend and anything, life could happen to you and all that, and you would never know, and you never, you know, you now realize all those things, that you realize that a healthy relationship, una mtu wa kupigana na yeye. This is not, you've attracted someone who's healthy, so you guys are not throwing words at each other. And that kind of gave, you know, even the awareness of, by the way, I actually probably liked having yelling matches or just a katif between us because of the anticipation of what might happen. Now you're with someone who's saying, tell me what is wrong.
Talk it out.
Let's talk it out. Let's resolve this. That is boring.
Very.
So now you want someone who you will now go say, women are troublesome. Men have nothing to offer other than drama.
Men are trash.
Men are trash. Because you go looking for the trash intentionally. Hata unaweza enda kwa pipa mwenyewe. But now, the beauty about healing and those spaces where we create and now they're boring, the blessing in it is this. You're able now to create the life you want. That's where creativity is at. Because realize also how much is lost in the fights. We actually think, of course it's exciting, but there's so much time and so much energy lost in it that you have no time to tap into your purpose, potential, creativity. That's why these boring couples are actually building wealth and others are just building drama.
Hey, sijui print that. I'm building wealth, not drama. Building wealth,
not drama.
Yes.
Because they have time even as two people to sit down and say, what do we do together? Even friendships. What do we do together? Because we can't be talking about how men are trash all the time.
Yes.
We can't be talking about how things are not working all the time. Now can we talk about what can we create together? How can I support you build the brand that you're building? Can I be able to come and ask for help? Because we are growing.
Yes.
Now we don't have time to drink down our drama and discuss things that have absolutely no use to us and waste 10 hours when we are together and we are still lonely. We don't have community either way. What happens? So in the boredom, in the you know, people will say they love peace. Aki watu hawapendi amani. They just say they want peace. But in fact, it's not peace they want. They just don't want to be held accountable. That's it. Because peace comes with accountability. Peace comes with people who love you asking you, yo, what is this you're doing? How do you want us to help you? But how can you answer that question if you don't know what you want to do in the first place?
Powerful.
Yeah.
How can we help you if you don't know what you want to do in the first place?
Yeah.
In that, what would you advise someone who is in that confusing state of mind? Because sometimes we don't know what we want to do. You know, we say it as a joke.
Yeah.
There are people there, mimi niliumbwa nifanye. By the way, mimi niko kwa hii dunia
Kufanya
nini? You know?
Yeah.
How do you feed your mind now in that period of waiting for that light bulb moment? Oh God, this is why.
One, there's no light bulb moment. I think if I ask you how you knew this was your purpose, you will give me a journey. Good. If you ask me how I knew this was my purpose, I'll give you a journey. Nobody came and lit a lamp in my usiku siku moja nikawata nikafikiria, this is it. No,
India form.
One, I think number one, we get lost because we want it to be something. We have an ideology of what it should be. We have an ideology of it being, it has to be big. Everybody has to know about it.
Yes.
It has to stand out. And there's nothing wrong with that. But what if you are called to mothering? Like literally, that's the thing you do and it fills your heart. Remember, all of us have a thing. So I've been reading the Bible, and when they were doing the tabernacle, and there's this scripture that says, the guys who are gifted to do certain things, they're the ones who are supposed to do it. So all of us are gifted in doing something. There's something that comes extremely easy for us to do. You interview easily. That comes easy for you. I saw a different interview you did, and you said that those things that come easily to you that are very difficult for someone else. For me, it's very easy to make certain connections. For someone else, they're the ones who have made it possible for us to sit here. But remember, we've already been told what is grand, what is big, and that's what we are looking for. But what if your purpose, and even if you decided that your purpose today was just going to be kindness?
What if that's also a purpose?
That's a purpose.
Oh, damn.
Yeah. That I'm going to be kind. I'm going to learn the act of kindness.
I just got a light bulb moment.
Yes.
I know you said there's not, but...
No, we said in terms of purpose.
In terms of purpose.
Yeah.
But what if kindness is your purpose?
Yeah.
Do we get confused because a purpose has to have a face? Is it because...
Yeah, we get confused because we want it to be grand. And that's why I said, what if your purpose is just family? What if your purpose is just to be a mom? What if your purpose is just you love seeing clean rooms? That gives you fulfillment. Right now, I'm so grateful that I get to see tailors who are making amazing dresses and they're getting well paid for it. But do you remember what we were being told when we were younger about those people?
Yes.
And their talent? It was not even seen as a talent.
Look at
Walianguka shule. Look at makeup artists and the money. Did you hear the money Rose was talking about the other day?
Yes.
Jesus. And now, and what did they tell us? Hey, they lied. The problem is we chase the face and we chase the money. Of course, it's not that you're not going to give value to what you offer.
Yeah.
But that what you offer is not valued by money. And it's a journey, like everybody who's out there who's seeking and just asking, is this really important to me? Is it important to me? Or is it important to other people? And if it's important, if the answer is yes, why?
Why?
That's the qualifying answer. And even some of the things that we are trying to heal from, it's just being able to ask ourselves the same question. So why do I keep doing this? Even though there's someone I asked why they were doing, or why they allowed something to happen for so long and they got upset with me. They felt like I wasn't on their side. But the more I thought about it, I thought that's the most empowering question I could ever ask as a friend. Why? Because if you get the why, then you are able to resolve it for yourself.
I feel like the most honest why comes when the answer lies in us and not the blame on other people. Yeah. I feel like as long as you're blaming other people, you will never...
It's actually not, it's refusing to take responsibility. That's purely what it is. It's someone just saying, I will not take responsibility, because it has to be your fault. That's being a victim. It's you, it's Lynn.
God.
Why did you continue working with her when you know she does this and this? But you know, you would expect, why did you? What was the hope?
No, but then you don't want to acknowledge your why was beneficial to you.
Exactly. And we do not do anything that we do not benefit from.
Period.
Period.
Your why was also, apart from maybe instances like abuse or
Yeah.
things like that, if it's work, why did you continue working there? I needed the rent, I needed the food, I needed school for my kids, school fees for my kids, I needed ABCD. That too
Instead,
was...
and you know, the most powerful acknowledgement there would be, I betrayed my own personal power. Yeah.
I betrayed. I know, we are all nodding, yes. I betrayed my own personal power.
That's self-betrayal. The people that we have to forgive the most for the things that have happened in our lives eventually end up being ourselves.
Do you want to do a mic drop right now? You want a mic drop it at that point? Now, that's profound.
Yeah, because once you get to a place where you understand, you get to choose. And I think that's the whole thing for me, that you get to choose, you get to be in charge of your own life, and not from a place of egoistic, but just to say, how do I move forward? How do I create the life that I want? And say, so forget about the how. What life do I want to create that is authentic to me?
Yeah,
Not everybody wants to live in a huge house in town.
exactly.
There's someone else who wants to live in a small house in some place where the fields are bigger than the house. That's me.
Me. No, that's me.
Yeah.
Yes.
The field is bigger than the house, so that I can get to connect with nature and all of that. We don't have to want everything. Figure you out. Be okay with your friend saying, I want to have a Coke. And you say, I like Fanta.
Or water.
I like Fanta or water. And don't feel obligated to drink a Coke just because everybody else is drinking a Coke.
Beautiful.
And it's in the small choices. And we think we demonstrate power with big choices, or the hard choices are the ones that are so big, like where am I going to live, and all of those. But the small choices that we make, like, am I going to tell the truth today? Am I going to be brutally honest, not just to someone else, but also to myself? That my intentions, that I'm going to be clear about my intentions. And even if I'm not clear on them, that later I can be honest about them. That will resolve so many issues, the internal conflict, because self-integrity is that what I say, do, and feel are all in congruence. I am walking in integrity. That what I told you I will do, I am doing. I keep my covenant, I keep my word. That what I'm saying and what I'm intending to do are one and the same thing. That I will not make false promises, not just to you, but to myself. Those, like, when we start living like that, like just one choice at a time, when you can't end everything at once. You're like a building. It has taken time for you to be who you are right now. It has taken time in terms of your beliefs, your values, your patterns. At times we have values, we don't understand why we have them. And they need to be restructured and they need to be looked at. We look at our belief system. So why do I relate with money like this? Why do I relate with power like this? It's because of your belief systems.
Yes.
Those beliefs have been born from somewhere. It's from experiences. So not unless you're willing to look into those experiences. So you see now the layers that build us.
Yeah.
You came, you're told who you are. In the process of being raised, first of all, there's what we do as a family. Sisi tunaendanga mpaka university, tunafanyanga mpaka PhD. Akina mimi nilikuwa tunataka kuwa makanika. That's it. All I wanted to do is engage with cars. But now you guys are forcing me to do things that I don't want to do. And I'm still learning to master the power to say no or to say yes and stuff like that. So you can't also restructure that in a day.
Yeah.
That's why if you talk to anybody, they'll tell you it's a process. It's a journey. Like eventually I'm very good with my nose. Now, I wasn't kitambo. but I'm very good with my no's. But now when I look at it, it's been a journey for me to get to a place where I'm comfortable saying no without feeling like I want to give excuses for that, without coming up with reasons. It's taken time, but now that's an art I have mastered.
And it's beautiful.
Very.
And it's working.
Very much.
Good. God, I love
My yeses are yeses, my no's are no's.
Period.
Yeah. But it's taken time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't want to let you go. But I know we have so many conversations that we are going to have together in the course of the year. But for anyone, before I ask you that, is there anything you wanted to cover in the same context that you think we've left out?
No.
For real?
I would say if you're looking to sort out your family drama and dynamic, you cannot run away from family. That's a bond that's beyond you as a human being. Your lineage is big. There's spirituality to life. I know we are people right now who we are trying to run away from that, but there's the sacredness and the spirituality of life. That we knew the descendants, if you're Christian, the descendants of Christ were known before time. Yeah. So when you're looking at your ancestors, look at them like that. Imagine that you had life and purpose to offer in that line. That can you celebrate both? That can you look at, you cannot win against something you're in opposition with, but maybe you can actually look at it and say, I cannot participate in this anymore. That's fine. But also be willing and ready to embrace, okay, there's the curses, let's call them that. And there's the wounding and the trauma. Yes. But what is also the blessing? Yeah. Because there's also both. So give yourself the opportunity to be exactly who you are without denying it, but now make choices from that place. Good. I think that's more empowering than saying, I'm going to cut them off. That energy won't take you far. You will be in a different continent, a different world, if there is one, doing the same thing, even without knowing. Over and over. Yeah, because you have not cleared it. Yeah. Beautiful. But for anyone, I feel like that was also a beautiful parting shot, but maybe if you want to add on it, anyone who is still stuck on that healing journey and they crave growth, they crave taking responsibility, what would be that parting shot look like for you? Decide. It's a decision, and it's not a decision you make once. It's a decision you make over and over again. Just decide. I'm healing and I am growing. If you can write that somewhere as an affirmation, I am healing and I am growing. Just decide. Because nothing happens without us making up our mind about it. Period. Just decide that that's what you're going to do. And also now remember, it's a decision you make over and over and over again. Yeah. And what am I healing from? How did I get here? How, of course, there are issues that will need a professional to work with you. Yeah. So there is that, but first decide. It's decision and saying, I'm going to own my life. Like literally just deciding I'm going to be an adult, because that's but that's what it is. That's what it is. Like literally, I believe adulting is the whole entire process of saying, I am willing to take responsibility of my life and my actions and my choices. And it's not just about what we have been told in terms of survival, but also in terms of growth in the inner world, because it's the inner world that rules the outer world. Yeah. So if you're not okay inwardly, then most definitely your world will not be okay outwardly. Good. So if you want to know what's going on inside of you, just look at the outside. And decide. Yeah. And just decide.
Just decide.
Just decide and keep deciding, keep deciding. Wake up in the morning and decide, today I'm going to choose myself. I'm going to tell the truth. I'm going to deal with this. I'm going to do that. Just keep deciding. And even the days that you fall short, that you're able to say, okay, today was an oops, but kesho, I will do better. So you say, oops.
Just decide though.
Just decide though.
And deciding does not have to be a one-day event.
Nope.
Decide even 10 times in a day.
I keep deciding.
Every single time.
Yeah, because then there's a journey of self-development. And I keep saying, now the more I sit with that, I realize it's about the journey of self-discovery. That I have known who I have been. There's a Mineh I'm yet to meet. Like there's this chick I'm yet to meet because of all the programming that I have gone through, of what they have had to heal, of everything. So am I able now as well to allow myself that to know I'm not just developing, I'm also discovering myself as well in the process. And that requires continuous decision making.
Good.
Yeah.
And I think growth looks beautiful on everyone.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does.
Thank you. But I know my people would really love to get in touch with you. So your handles are already on the screen. But for anyone that would want, wasikia ni umesema, how can people connect with you?
All social media.
Yes.
Morrine Mineh.
Yeah.
Email coachmineh@gmail.com. Then phone number 0738 57. No, the number will be there.
Let me read for her, guys. It's all right. I let her confirm this is her number, because we 0738
Yes.
574 784.
Yes.
That's you.
Yes.
All right. So I appreciate you for coming through this morning, and I hope honestly our people get to learn a thing or two. But they would love us to discuss more in the near future, guys. I'm really interested in your thoughts on the comment section as we decide what kind of topic would you want Coach Mineh to discuss with us next. But what are some of the things that you would love to help us on in this platform?
Intentional parenting is one of those topics that's really dear and near to my heart.
Beautiful.
Also just self-discovery, land mapping, like mapping out your life.
Mapping out, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, and as also, guys, she's amazing. To be honest, sometimes I bring new people here because I've connected with them individually before, and I always say I don't want to keep this to myself. I want us to share in their beautiful thought process. And let me know on the comment section, as I said, what are some of the things that you would want her to talk to us about. We said 2024, we are rebuilding every sector of our life. We can rebuild, we can restore, we can transform. Cha muhimu ni we are growing. We are deciding to intentionally put one foot forward every single day. We are not going to end this year the same people. We are going to do a bit of inner work. We are going to challenge ourselves. We are going to honestly look at our surroundings and ask, are these serving us anymore? Or is it time to genuinely let go of some of these things and some of these friends and some of these environments, you know? Yeah, so leave me your comments on the comment section, and also let me know what your take home is. For me, it's a lot, but above all, I'm deciding. That word is just a word, but imagine thinking about it right now. I'm deciding to go eat my veggies instead of Indomie. Like I'm deciding, you know. So thank you so much for watching, and also to say thank you to the team for always putting this work together, not forgetting our incredible partners at Tap for always coming through. We really do appreciate the people who intentionally choose to partner with our platform, and I love the feedback, and I've always said. If you have any feedback that you can't also leave on the comment section, my email is open, info@lnn.digital. But I hope you guys, they are treating you right. The reports are beautiful. I love when we just do those meetings and we hear good news, and I love that you are supporting us, because it goes a long way. So if you're watching this maybe from diaspora, you want to send money to your loved ones are here back at home, why don't you try TapTap? You will be able to also get 10% cash back on your first transaction using that app on the figures that are appearing on your screen. And also to say thank you guys, not forgetting tumetoka mbali. So this is gratitude over and over again. I wouldn't forget you guys. You've been incredible. So let's continue. Share your feedback with us as well on the comment section or at info@lnn.digital. Share your story also. That email, same. So me, I'm about to bounce. I'm gonna see you guys tomorrow at 10 a.m. Don't forget Coach Mineh's details are on your screen. Get in touch if you can and follow her on her social handles. See you kesho.